afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on folks. This is man all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Can you believe, folks? We just got a few more days left of May. Shit, I mean, what the?
I know. And my son's
This.
birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, how he's gonna be?
17.
He's gonna be a man. Remember, yeah, beat him down. Remember, he's
Yeah.
a parent. Yeah, beat him down.
He's a good kid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, folks, as you know, I'm always interested in somebody in their story, in their path of how they got into bodybuilding. And this lovely young lady, she just in an interview a while back with my man KL the Wanderer. If you want to check out the interview, it's in the chat comment section. You can click the link, check out the interview. She just made her NPC debut. Was it about a week ago?
Yeah,
And
17th.
yes, 17th at the Ronnie Coleman Classic. Ronnie Coleman, yeah, baby, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. There's a legend, Mr. 8-time Mr. Olympia, and
He's amazing. Yeah.
you know, you know what, folks? She's a fresh fish, fresh on the line.
I'm very fresh. I'm still
Yeah,
learning, taking in
yeah,
all the knowledge. Everybody send it over.
yeah. We love these fresh fish. You just love to corrupt them a little bit. So we welcome the lovely Mrs. Cara Hardin,
Mhm.
and we'd like to thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This is
All right,
awesome.
all right. So this is a story I often ask you, ladies. What got you started in this sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my story starts over 12 years ago. I was like most moms I had had two children. I had them very close together, which was not planned, but it worked out very well in our benefit having them close together because they were like little best friends everywhere. And, when the kids ate the goldfish snacks, I ate the goldfish snacks. And, I don't know. Eventually, I looked in the mirror and I was like, this is not me. This is not where I want to be. And so I started a journey. And that journey has lasted a little over 12 years now. I started out with the weight loss in the beginning, lost about 70 pounds. I was 210 pounds when I started and got down to about 140, somewhere around there. And but at the time, I was just like really thin. And when I went to the gym, I did the group workout classes like most people do because I didn't know what to do in the gym. And I just thought, man, these girls that are teaching these classes, they are it. Like they're strong, they're up in front of the class. And I'm like, I want to do that. That's what I want to be. And I'm one of those people, when I set my mind to something, it happens. So fast forward a few years, I was a Les Mills certified instructor. I taught three different formats: the Body Flow, the CX Works core classes, and the Body Pump choreographed weightlifting. I got two personal trainer certifications, but more so for my own knowledge. I did try personal training for about a year, but didn't really like it. It's not my thing, training other people. But I did get a lot of knowledge out of those two certifications. And I also used to run the Live Strong program at the YMCA for cancer survivors and helping get them back into exercise after treatments. And that was a very rewarding program to be a part of. But then as I kept on in my journey, I realized I was working out for other people and not for myself. I would do as many as 8 to 12 classes a week, lifting weights in front of a class. And it was just exhausting because I'm also trying to lift for mass on the side. And I was doing so much that, it was too much. And so one year I left for Christmas break and I didn't go back. I messaged out and gave all my classes away. And I said, I want to change. I want to start lifting for mass. I want to get stronger, have, more muscle mass. And I'm like, I want someone to look at me and be like, she lifts, she works out, and so that's what I set out for. So I've been lifting for muscle mass for a little over 4 years now. I started out on my own. I always had the idea that I can do this myself. I'm like one of those people that I can do this myself. I don't need help. I don't need a trainer. And then I hit a stall at one point, and for like 6 to 8 months, I just could not make any progress. I could not figure out why for the life of me. So finally, I broke down and hired a trainer. I hired Coy Cooper. He worked at a local gym to help me. And the first thing he said to me is, he said, "Have you checked your hormones?" And I was like, "No." And then that's when the whole world of hormones opened up to me. It was so hard to get someone to check my hormones. It is crazy how hard it is. My primary wouldn't do it. They said, have your OB do it. Finally got them to do it. And sure enough, I was abnormal. So I started hormone therapy, and it changed the world for me, and I love Coy Cooper for that. He ended up moving to Florida, and I did virtual training with him for a while. He was my coach, and then when I decided to shift to maybe doing a bodybuilding competition, because I did this, he worked with me through this long cut from like 175 pounds down to about 153 last year. And everybody was like, do you do MMA? Do you box? Do you compete? And I was like, telling my husband, I was like, do you think I should do that? And he was like, yeah, go for it. You should do it. And my husband has always been my number one supporter. And so I hired a trainer in person at the gym who was Coach Scott G. He's on Instagram, Coach Scott Gee, like the letter G. So he was my trainer for about a year in person, helping me with legs and what macros to eat, things like that, coaching me through it because I had a back injury a few years ago that made it to where I couldn't do legs at all for about 8 months. I couldn't do core work. I couldn't do legs. It was just a disaster. So I always have it in my mind that my legs are behind. My legs have to catch up. And he helped me so much grow my legs. And then last minute, 3 weeks before the competition, 3 months out, I was having some issues. I did end up in the hospital at one point during prep. And I just decided I need a female coach. And my coach, Scott, agreed with me. And I found Ashley. So I now work with Ashley Jones, and she is amazing. All of my coaches have been amazing over the years in helping me transform and reach my goals. But I know that Ashley is going to take me places. So I'm super excited. Ashley is actually number 3 in the world right now for women's bodybuilding, Miss Olympia. If you haven't seen her online, check her out. She's at Ivy Strong 2, the number 2, and she is a beautiful soul inside and out, and she is so knowledgeable about not just exercise but nutrition and also the balance of lifestyle. And you have to have a balance when you do bodybuilding with your life. And so we went to the Ronnie Coleman, and I did not think my legs were gonna be ready, like come out, because my body stores all the fat in my legs. But in 3 weeks she got my legs to come out, and they looked great on stage. And now I'm just super excited to move forward with her in bulk this year and then compete again next year. Hopefully, my goal is to move from figure more into physique. That's my category I want to be in. So, but the judges, their only feedback was I need to grow if I want to be in physique. They said my posing was on point. I was the most confident on stage. They said all good things. So I'm excited. Physique is in my future.
Well, like I said, I one of my things is, well, I'm the emperor of bodybuilding. I'm aware of Miss Jones, so there's no need to say
Yes,
I
she
am
is
aware because
amazing.
yeah, she's. This is from her when she competed at 2022 at the Olympia. She just wow, I love that smile. Her body just amazing. I just
She's
oh
gorgeous.
yeah, she's gorgeous. I mean, and yes, I mean especially when she was originally she earned a pro card in figure,
Hmm.
then did physique. Then there was that year where she did get a first qualification for the Olympia, but she had to step away because it was dealing with some medical issues. Come back, didn't do as well at the next year, and took the break. Comes back, and now she's top 3 both in the at the Olympia, top 3 in the world for women's bodybuilding. I mean, she's amazing. I mean, I'm a fan of this young lady.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. And anyway, that's the thing about it. Yeah. Getting to the sport, it's really a lot to it. Understanding your factors. And the thing is, I say this, women and men, our biologies are different. We do share some things like kidneys and hearts and everything, but
Yes.
biology is different because y'all ones who bear our children. You have 2
Hmm.
babies. I grew up in a family, we weren't that close. I mean, well, was it a week before last? My sister just turned 67. I'm 50. So there's a
Okay.
lot of distance between. I have an older brother. He's in his 70s, because my father had
Okay.
a son before him. Yeah, I could see, yeah, but we're close. I can say that when it comes out of family. But there's a lot of work involved with this as a bodybuilder. I mean, and then you did pretty good. Like I see your medals there. Which classes you were doing both physique and figure. What was places each divisions and classes?
So I only had one competitor in physique, and I was a little disappointed about that because I really wanted to be like lined up with multiple people and see how I compared. I wanted to see those videos afterwards and see, okay, wow, she looks great there. I need to work on this. But I just had the one competitor. But I want to start by saying that she was absolutely amazing. We were backstage, and she was behind me just because we were in number order. And she just looked at me and she was like, girl, you don't even be nervous. She's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. She's like, you just go out there and you have a good time. And she's like, and you take your time. She's like, you worked so hard to get here. And it was just so nice to have that backstage right before I went on, for the first time. And I can't remember her Instagram name, but I
Uh,
did
it's
find her.
uh, it's
I did.
Zuniga. It's
Yeah, it
Zuniga.
starts with a Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zuniga. Yeah, I just started following her. She was posting some stuff from backstage. Like she talked to a couple of guys that were guys. One
Yes.
guy was in '60s, one guy in his '50s, and a bikini. And she has some energy about her. I even reached out to maybe I might get to do an interview with her sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see an interview with her and learn more about her. But I found her and messaged her. I was like, I'm so glad I found you because you are amazing. And so we've connected now. And that's one of the things I love about this competition is I have connected with a few people, some from bikini, some from physique, things like that on Instagram. And I just love creating this like awesome fit fam out there. But yeah, so I competed in physique and figure. And my only goal with this competition was to gain knowledge of bodybuilding and competitively and what the competitions are like and to get feedback from the judges so I know what do I need to work on. So physique and figure, I got in physique I got first place in women's 40 plus, which is the masters 40 plus. And then for open, taller than 5'6" because I'm pretty tall. I'm almost. They measured me at 5'8" and a fourth there, but I'm 5'8" and 3/4. So I don't know how that worked out, but 5'9" ish. But so for the tallest category, I got first place, and then also true novice. But I was like the only true novice, so that's how I got first place for that. And then for overall, of course, she got physique, and she earned it. She looks amazing. I'm just looking at her like I want to look like you. Um, and then for figure, I got first place for Masters 40 plus, first place true novice, and then also for open for my height. But again, if I remember correctly, for that category as well, I was the only one for that height range. So that's how I got the first place on that. But the second place for open or overall on figure was second place. So I got second on that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I mean, I think with some shows, especially when this is a regional show, you usually don't get a lot of bodies. I think you get more bodies for like divisions like bikini and wellness because they're a little more
Mhm.
popular. Figure still a little bit more popular. I talk about this on my channel how the physique and women's bodybuilding are getting a little bit shunned. As you know, there's this thing going on right now with Arnold. He just announced he's raising the prize money for Young Classic. I'm not a big. I used to love watching his movies as a kid. Arnold
Uh-huh.
and Arnold. But now I'm not a fan of his policies when it comes to the women because he's pushed out divisions like women's bodybuilding and physique and figure. But it's always about
Mhm.
a money thing. But he can find $250,000 to get another one man. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, I know working with Ashley, she's really brought you in.
Oh yeah, honestly, when like I didn't even know she would accept me as a client. When you're a person and you're trying to better yourself and build yourself in bodybuilding or anything, you're always like your biggest critique, and I never like feel like I'm like going to be enough, you know what I'm saying? Even though I put all the work in and try so hard. So when I found out that she was going to accept me as a client, I literally cried. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like she took me on, I'm so excited. Yeah, that's her right there. She is so sweet, she is so awesome. And I just can't say enough good things about her. Like all of my coaches have been amazing along the way, but I honestly feel like now that I found her, like this is it. Like, 'cause she, like, I was having really bad digestive problems. I was in the ER for it for a little at one point during prep, which I thought was just going to throw things off. It was horrible. Literally within days, she helped me, like signing on with her. Like she told me to do these things, and it helped so much. So I'm forever grateful for that. But I don't remember what I was going to say about the competition though, but yeah. Oh, I was going to say, yeah. The reason I ended up doing the Ronnie Coleman is at first I was going to do the WBBF. I had signed up for that one, and the date for that competition was the 24th of May, and that one was that brand new federation, that was coming out, and I can't remember the name of the husband and wife that run it, but
It was run by Betty Friso and her husband Ed. Because
Yeah,
Betty,
I'm really
Betty,
bad
yeah,
with names, but
yeah.
yeah, he had medical issues and all that, and they'd had a son pass recently and stuff. So I think they just decided to cancel them and step back and focus on family, which I completely get that, and I would have done the exact same thing in their shoes. Like I would have definitely done that. So good on them for taking care of their family and putting that first. But so because that was canceled, I was like, ooh, I got to find because I'm already prepping and cutting for this specific date. I need to find something close by and so I found the Ronnie Coleman in Fort Worth, which is only a couple hours for me. So I was like, "Ooh, that's the one right there." So yeah, next year I'm going to try to find a competition where I know there'll be more competitors in physique to compete with. But
Wait,
that
because that was a regional show. You're not nationally qualified yet because you didn't get the
no, no,
overall deal
no,
there. So
no.
you might have to find. It probably like there's the Battle of Texas. They have that. That's also possibly that's a regional qualifier for nationals.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right there. I think it's where is that in Texas? I forget. It's from the same like I know you saw Sheeta Brown there. She's one of the promoters of the Texas Pro.
Yes.
Also, she does the Battle Up for Texas. In Texas, Texas and Texas, and that's a possibility for next year because, like I said, the coaches,
Hmm.
the judges told you need more size, but
Yes.
you feel like, especially with your height, it's a lot harder for women who are a lot taller to put on muscle. Like look at Ashley. Ashley's barely like maybe 5 feet tall, and
Yeah, I
she's
think she's 5 foot, if I remember
yeah,
correctly. Don't
and-
quote me, but I think that's what
yeah.
she's.
And there's another lady who's like around about a little shorter as Michaela Aycock. She like the shorter women can put on muscles like, but I
Yeah,
think it's
I think it's the length because the muscle isn't like stretched as far, so it makes it have that bigger appearance. But I don't know. I do hope in the next couple of years to maybe get to go up and eventually get a pro card. That's my goal. So
yeah.
um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's everybody's goal because especially when you get into sport, you understand the factors in the training, the dieting. Most people when you look at bodybuilding, in the mindset of the everyday person, it says all you gotta do is put steroids and just take this and no, no. There's more to it. Is you don't follow
yeah,
a diet, especially you find out you because being a woman again, you had to find out that you had some issues, and
yeah.
it's good that you got those taken care of because that
Mhm.
helps you in your process. So, folks, while we get Kira here, we're going to jump into social media for a bit. You want to follow her? Her links in the description of this live stream. Reach out to her, genuine interest, and also support. These ladies can need the support because this is a tough sport, and she's a new fish, so you got to be
Yeah,
careful. Right?
new fish,
So
definitely.
so so be gentle with her. So we're gonna jump here into your social media for a bit on your
Okay.
IG. All right, and here she is right here, and right, and she's counting off the days. This was day 4. What was that feeling like? We getting so close, making your debut.
As it got closer, I decided I used to work in the hospital. My background is cardiac ultrasound. That's what I went to college for, and that's what I did for several years. I just recently stopped a few years ago because it back problems from scanning. But so wearing a mask was something I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to do this to try to keep myself from getting sick. And I thought, what a fun way to just do a countdown on my mask, and I can do that on my Instagram for my because I post every workout I do since March of last year. Every single workout I have done has been posted on my page, along with progress photos and things like that. So, and I try to be pretty transparent and all that stuff. But yeah, I love the countdown. I did it on my water jugs too. Ashley had me drinking spring water to help me keep more minerals in my body as we were doing peak week, and it worked. People saw me wearing a mask, and of course they're like, "What does that say on it?" But then they see you wearing a mask, and they think, "Oh, she might be sick," so they stay away. So it definitely kept people away. So that was awesome. Um, I was just like, I worked too hard to get here. I don't want to get sick in the last few moments. My husband actually slept upstairs that last week before the competition because he had to go out of town for work. And when he got back, he was sick. So he slept
Oh,
upstairs. So
I feel bad. Poor man said he wants to lay down with his woman. Say, baby, I'm not seeing. Nah, baby, I can't. No, you can't,
he,
can't. You gotta stay
he
away from
didn't
me.
come
Yeah.
near me. Like if I was in the kitchen or something, he would stay in the living room until I left. And it was hard because he was gone for work and he came back and he was only back like a day and a half. And then he and my son left because my son got scuba certified Mother's Day weekend. So he went
Oh,
with him to do his scuba certification out of town. So he was gone again, and then he was still not feeling well when he got back. So we didn't see each other for like a week, it seemed like.
yeah. Well, congratulations to your boy. That's something he can take to if you want to get a career out of that.
Yeah,
You know, and
he
your
loves
husband,
scuba. Yeah.
yeah, and your husband. How long y'all? What's his name? How long y'all been together?
So my husband and I are high school sweethearts, actually. I met my husband when I was 15 years old, and we started dating when I was 15 years old, and he was 17. And when we graduated high school, we immediately moved in together, and we got married when I was 19 and he was 20. He turned 21 the day after our wedding. So it's like a fun story I tell people because, we were poor, we couldn't do a whole lot. So we just went on a cruise for our honeymoon, and so he was my legal guardian, so I could drink on the ship because I was only 19. But but yeah, he is the most amazing support I've ever had. We've even had conversations with our children, explaining to them that this is not the norm. Most people do not meet people that young and stay together, but we have experienced many walks of life together, many changes, good and bad, and he is an excellent support. Like, I can't even tell you how much he supported me during all this. Hey, Clipper. Sorry,
Oh,
my
the
husband
dog is
just got
out.
home.
Yeah, there's. Well, honestly, my mother met my father when she was 16. He was 21, and
Yes.
they were together 55 years. Even though Dad was living in New Jersey for 30 years of it, and we were still here in North Carolina. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I think that is. We find somebody you want to be with and compatible with, and he supports your bodybuilding because you know what, it's tough because sometimes I've interviewed ladies that told me that they were married before and then they got divorced because the husband liked their wife building muscle or changing the
Mhm.
aspects of what it is to be a woman. It's tough. Also, here she is backstage getting ready. What's that feeling like? Because getting ready, you getting prepped, you get your suits on and the
Oh, yeah.
tan and
I like to tell people about the tanning because I don't think it's the same at all competitions, but I was really surprised. Like, as I was walking in to get my first spray tan the day before, a girl was walking out and she was like, "I hope you're not modest," or whatever, like joking. And yeah, you go in there and, like, I don't know, I hope I can say this, but everybody's naked. Like there is no privacy. Like, they have these little pop-up things they tan you in, but you can see right in there, like from the door as you walk in. And then they have like a corner with a bunch of fans, and all the girls just go stand there with their arms out for 10 minutes as they dry, like butt naked. And I was like, oh, okay. So they're like, take your clothes off and go get in a booth. And I was like, all right. And then they're like, okay, bend over. But they got to spray all the crevices, obviously. But the
oof.
pro tan people did such a good job. And I'm telling you, the girls that tan me at like 6:30 in the morning were the same girls glazing me before I went on stage at like 6 o'clock. They're there all day, days in a row, just working so hard, and they did so well because I actually spilt something, like dropped food on my leg, and it like got the tan off. So, and they fixed it immediately. They like rubbed bronzer on it, made it smooth again, glazed me, and I was good to go. So their work is great, and their photographer was awesome. I had a mini private photo shoot I paid for, and Vanessa was my photographer. And I believe her Instagram is that girl squats, I think is what it is. It's at that girl squats, I think that's what it is. But I have tagged her in some of my recent stuff. But she was so sweet and she was so nice, and she had this little bitty doggy with her. It was so cute. He was like the little, like, mascot up there for everybody. But yeah, the tanning was interesting, and yeah, they do glue your suit to you, so you think you're gonna go home with this awesome tan, but nope. When you pull that thing off, you have white spots left behind. So, um,
Yeah, it's experience for like most people wouldn't want to put themselves through something like that, especially that tan. I often heard that tan's cold because you know what, you gotta get butt naked. So get like, drop your pants, get naked for a ticket, and But it's good that you enjoyed yourself and you enjoy your experience. Be on this, and the work you put into this because it's an investment being a bodybuilder.
mhm.
I say this quite often, like with the men's side all they gotta do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. But they do have their diets, their plans, everything like this. But y'all ladies, there's a lot more to it for y'all because here's the thing is you're a woman who's building muscle. You're changing the aspects of what people consider feminine. And it's often people who have their prejudgments of women in bodybuilding. Like ladies have told me because they had to deal with people's harassments and stuff like that. But still, you have a passion for this, and
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's interesting to me because I have several, girlfriends on Instagram. We've never met each other before, but we chat regularly, ask each other questions. They're definitely, my fit fam, my support group on Instagram. But they post some things and tell me some things that people tell them that I'm just like, what on earth? Like why do people feel they need to put others down to feel better about themselves? I don't get it. Like I'm the type that I want to help people and lift them up, and I'm like, yeah, you got this. Just keep going. But honestly, I'm probably gonna jinx myself, but I have had zero negative comments. I've only been doing a public Instagram for a little over a year now. I kind of wish I'd started sooner, but the whole confidence of putting yourself out there thing. But zero negative comments. My family's been supportive. Everybody on Instagram's been supportive. So I don't know how I've managed to dodge that, but I'm sure it's going to come at some point. But I'll just have to be prepared.
yeah, I competition has some ladies that sometimes it's worse. It's just mostly people who don't have the mentality to do what y'all do, to make the
Yeah.
sacrifice, to put in the time, put in the work, and
Hmm.
understand what's involved with bodybuilding. It's always a prejudgment that everybody's on steroids, everybody that's just natural bodybuilding, but it's a different look compared to the more
Yeah.
enhanced competitors. But here's the thing: there's that other flip side. There's the other guys. Is one of my climbs cars. I am a muscle person. I love y'all ladies. Y'all just excite me with your buff muscles. I can't.
Oh
I
yeah,
just, just
I do
yeah.
have some men and women that are like, "Oh, is it weird that I want to feel your muscles or stuff like that?" I'm like, "Whatever, you're fine." Like, I don't care. As long as people don't get inappropriate with their comments, I'm not going to block them. So, but I've had a few that were like went a little too far, so they got blocked. But yeah, I will say too that like I don't even get. I have had like one. I have a lot of tattoos. Michael Norris is my tattoo guy. His Instagram is the Real Hub Tattoo, HUB. He lives in another state now, but he comes in like twice a year to tattoo his clients. And he just finished a very large piece on my side and over my abdomen for me. But I've had like one guy in a store one time say, "Why would you do that to your body?" Like an older man, but I was just like, and brushed it off. But other than that, I've never really had any negative comments in public either. Like literally every time I cut to be lean, like I am right now, last year, same thing. Complete strangers will walk up to me in the grocery store, in the parking lot. Today, I went to lunch with my friend at 1 o'clock, and this girl was walking by, and she's like, "Yeah," like flexing her arms as she walked by. It's all positive. So I don't know. I just haven't encountered the negative yet. Just that one man that commented on my tattoos, and it wasn't even that bad. But um,
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of tattoos either. I don't have any, And also,
mhm.
when you said you worked as a cardiac nurse, I want to say, from a person who has a pacemaker, I say I appreciate you because tomorrow I got to go do an echo for my heart. But I
That's what I
appreciate
did. I did
you.
the echocardiograms,
I appreciate people.
specifically adults. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I really do because I had this about 10 years. I had a heart attack when I was 39 years old. I didn't take care of myself like I'm supposed to, but happens when
Mhm.
you're working.
That's
Trying
right.
to live life. Yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
my anatomical heart right here on my
Wow.
arm.
Wow, is it beating? You little muscle. So guys, yeah, guys, she did a little slight little flex for you guys, so you don't have to ask. So be cool. That guys always like that. We have here some people in the comment sections. Shout out to my man, the art of female muscle. It says, I saw that at the Ronnie Coleman show. You competed in both figure and WPD. If you were forced to choose, which one of those divisions would you most likely choose to join and why? Shout out to you, my man.
Well, right now, I was originally training for physique. So originally, I hired a posing coach, but she put me in physique, and I think it's because like I have like a lot of striation in my shoulders, so I think that's why she put me in physique. But then that relationship didn't work for me, so I decided to move on and find a different posing coach, and that's when I hired Miss Flexi Brown on Instagram with two X's, Sheila Brown, and she was my coach. Taught me posing since January, I think, is when we started, and she went ahead and coached me through physique. And then when I hired Ashley, Ashley was like, "Ooh, I think you're more figure," and I was like, "Oh man!" So literally 3 weeks before I went on stage, I signed up for figure and started learning figure posing, and the same, but it's also very different. Personally, I like physique. I like to like go up and flex, the flex off. I don't like the heels. I want to be barefoot. Like I want, and like I feel like the figure posing for me is like kind of boring because you're just like, here's my lats, here's my lats again, and that's like and then it's very flowy and feminine, which is nice, but I like the muscle, the flex, like so. I want to be in physique personally, but right now I am more figure. So I'll probably continue to compete figure depending on how I grow next year until I can get into physique. Since that was the only comment from the judge that if I want to be in physique, I need to grow. So,
Yeah.
I got the heels. I'll keep wearing them until I'm ready for physique.
Yeah, I used to one of my jobs. I used to work in a strip club, and that's why they had to wear high heels most of the time.
Hmm.
And those high heels, I have heard stories, especially when ladies who do figure or bikini or wellness. Sometimes they had to squeeze your feet in. One lady told me one time she said sometimes take her hair dryer and loosen up the straps because they were so tight in the
Yes,
feet. Yeah,
that is the thing.
once you start doing physique or women's bodybuilding, you take off those high heels. Oh God, I feel good. It's like we take off your bra. We come up from a long day of work and say, "Shit, bah, 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 bah. Oh God, it feels great." Yeah, my man. Shout out to my man Jeremy. He says, "P.S. You look awesome." PTW. There you go, Jeremy. And there you go, you smooch. You got some flexing. Be cool. Put away the toilet, the tissue, the lotion. You're good now. Now you didn't have to ask.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's why I say I often don't ask someone to do flex because I tell guys, hey, you want to see flexing, go to the social media platforms. They're there. But when you do it voluntarily, that's much more appreciated.
Oh, I
So
love to flex. Like, girl at the gym the other day, I ran to. I was like, "Hey, girl!" And I was like, "Here, flex with me real quick." And we recorded it and I posted it. But yeah, I love flexing with people. And
yeah,
I told people right now, I was like, "This is the first time in my life I have been this lean and this low of a body fat. Like to actually really see striations and to like actually see my leg muscle. Like I've never actually seen my leg muscles lean." So I'm like, I'm gonna flex all the time. If y'all don't want to see it, you can just swipe past it because I'm gonna be flexing all the time until I start bulking again.
yeah. I think it's the same thing. Everything needs to work on the things that advance them as an athlete,
Mhm.
make the improvements. Like as I
Mhm.
often say, it's the things that make you stranger can make you stronger. That's the other guy
Mhm.
likes to say. So now that feeling that you got it out of your way, you did your first show. What like say the plan is you want to take your time and grow. What's the thing from the judges they tell you that you need to work on the most?
I didn't get any of that from the judges. I honestly like because like I said, the whole reason I did this was to get judges' feedback, and so I felt a little bummed that they didn't like give me something to work on. And I literally asked him, I was like, "Well, are my legs behind my upper body because of the back injury I had?" And he had me posed right in front of him, right there, front and back, and he looked me over and he's like, "No," he's like, "You're very symmetrical, you're balanced." He's like, "You just need to grow into physique if that's what you want to do, like grow into it." So we're just going to work on. I want to grow my legs. I still feel like my legs are not as where they should be. So I don't know what Ashley's plan is for me yet for bulking season. I have been with a coach for over 2 years now, so I had the choice. I decided I'm taking a month and a half off where I'm not coached. Like she guided me the reverse diet, everything to do and what to do while I'm away from her, but for the next month and a half, I'm going on vacation. We're going to Turks and Caicos on the 3rd through the 10th. My husband and I are going to Vegas. We're going camping for 4th of July. We're going to go see some comedians, like just have fun. I'm not going to go crazy, obviously. I'm going to stick to my macros during the day and all this stuff, but just go enjoy life a little with my family because I am a big believer in balance. And then July 14th, Ashley and I will probably we're going to start working together again, and then we'll pick the show for next year, what we want to work on, figure out my diet and all that stuff. So I don't know what the plan is yet from her, what she wants to do next off season, but it's coming. Right now, I'm
Well,
doing maintenance.
well, I say this. I don't have a plan. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I don't know what to do when to get one. He have a comment from my man. He's picking on me. He's my man. He's my brother, 40 grand. He's always talking shit about you. Everybody says, yeah, the coming from the guy who goes crazy on the podcast every time he holds his personalized copy of Andrea Shaw on the magazine cover. Yes, because you know why? She's my girlfriend. I love her. I love her because
I love that you keep it close by.
yeah, because you know what? This is as I said again when she took the time out because a friend of mine, her name is Eunice. She's also in Texas. She runs a company, Bad Rap. I've seen you. We can check her out. and she took the time and she was at the Olympia and she asked her to autograph this for me. And you know what? This is what I say: if you're good at something, never do it for free. For my man, the Joker. And I just really get to learn something for y'all ladies. Be it you're someone like Ashley, be someone like Andrea, be someone like Sarah Vilgas, who's also she's running, Texas Pros coming up in another couple of months. It's just about what it is to sacrifice as a woman in sport. Understand the work you put in, the time put in. You have kids, and some ladies don't have that. Some do, and try to find the time to be a bodybuilder. Like I said again, the cost of being for a woman is a little higher compared to the guys because you have to get your hair done, your makeup done, your posing suits. Then as amateur, you have to pay your fees to compete in the shows, and you got to pay your NBC fees. It's a
Yes.
lot. It's,
So I can talk on that, definitely. So I will say to start, I think it's a little like I think the men go first, and I don't know, don't quote me on this. Someone tell me like why or if I'm wrong, but I think maybe the men go first because traditionally, bodybuilding was a men's sport, so they go first, and then the women come on. But I'm like, dude, I had to get up at 2:45 in the morning to check in with my coach at 3. And I will tell you that I asked her, do you want me to check in at like 6:30? And she said, no, I'll set an alarm. And she got up with me at 3 a.m. and did my check-in. She's amazing. But I got up at 2:45. I did my posing for her, sent it over. She looked at my photos, told me what to do with my diet and how much water to have based on my photos. And then I had to get my hair done at my makeup done at 4 a.m., my hair at 4:45, and my third tanning at 6:30. And then you get there when to check in or whatever at 8:30 because it starts at 9, and then we just sit there for hours. Like, and I'm like, we had to pay all this money to get our hair done. Everything is like falling out. Our makeup's getting messed up. And then now it's time to go on stage. I'm like, man, we have to do all this stuff like our nails and lashes and hair. And I even whitened my teeth for weeks prior, like so my teeth would look good. But like I was like, man, I wish they would let the women go first because then by the time finals came, the lady like put blue eyeshadow on me, which is not a color I wear. I had nothing to touch it up with. Like I didn't know I was gonna be wearing blue eyeshadow, so I had to like figure out how to like fix my makeup because it was starting to like crease. And yeah, and it is very expensive, and I am looking for ways to kind of balance that financially. I can talk on that too, but as far as the family life, my kids are 16 and well, 15 and 16, almost 16 and 17. They're 14 months apart, but my whole family was very supportive. My kids, helped out with the dishes more, did things around the house. My husband, if he knew I was running out of one of the proteins I needed, he would cook it for me on the way home. But those last 3 weeks, it was like I would get up in the morning, I would do 30 minutes of fasted car, or I'd do my check-in with my coach because she had me check in twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week at first, and then every day peak week. 30 minutes of fasted cardio, 6 days a week. I had to have, my breakfast, everything's weighed and measured. How much water I'm having is being weighed and measured. The salt, like the amount of salt was measured. I put in every meal, no seasoning, like everything was very to a T. And I checked every box she told me to do because I was determined to get my legs looking better by, the day of the competition. But then get to the gym, 30 to 45 minutes of posing practice, stretching, balance work for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then an hour and 15-minute lift session, followed by my post-workout meal that I would have to prep and bring with me. I would eat that. There's no microwave. They wouldn't let me use it at the gym. So I just ate cold chicken and rice every day, crunchy rice out of the bowl, just made it work. No seasoning on it, but I'd have my salt and my measuring spoon and I would put it on there, and then I would do my cardio post lift for 30 minutes after that. Then I go home, time to eat again. And then it's just this constant like thing of, and then I'm like trying to prep for the next day that night. And then I was also trying to get more steps in. I had to have 8,000 steps a day, not including my cardio. So then my husband and I would go for a 30-minute walk. And it was just every day nonstop exhausting. But I got it done and it was a lot of work, but my family was very supportive. And I even told my husband, if I was like, if I had like a normal job, like, I don't know how people do it if they have like a normal, like, full, like 8 to 5, like do these competitions. Cause it'd be so hard to get everything in with a family. And maybe that's why some people wait until after their kids move out to do it. But my job is pretty flexible. I can do what I need to do when I need to. So I kind of fit it in as needed. But and for the financial part, like the suits are very expensive. Like someone was like, "Are you gonna swim in it afterwards?" I'm like, "No, no, that's going in like a plastic case, like so nothing touches it." Um, but yeah, it adds up, and my husband was supportive on that too, especially when last minute I decided to add open in because Ashley wanted to see how I compared against everyone else, and so I added open in as well. So that made it more expensive, but the hotel, everything, it just really adds up. And so I wasn't going to announce until June 1st, but I've actually been signed on with Five Star Nutrition as their elite athlete starting June 1st. So I'm hoping that that will take off. They're just doing a 1 month contract up front. That way I have the option to back out after a month if I want to. And then of course they have the option to back out as well. But I'm hoping it takes off because they want me to help them with their social media, making reels for them, stuff like that. And I have actually been going to Five Star Nutrition for 4.5 years now. I go there every month, sometimes twice a month, to get in-body scans, get all my supplements there. And so I'm hoping that this relationship will help balance some of the costs of having the coach and the gym membership and all the meat you have to buy and eggs. We know what's going on with eggs. We all know about the eggs. So
Yeah.
but
So that's one thing I don't eat eggs, so I don't worry about that. I try to find meat. Eat too much meat. Like I do got like a lot of chicken because at one point I was at 500 pounds because when I started doing this, I was taking care of my mom, and she was sick for a long time, and then I didn't realize it. I was almost 500 pounds when she
mhm.
passed. I said, you know what? Now it's time for you to take care of me. And right now I'm like a little bit over 400.
Mhm.
That's it takes a lot of time and work, just like you as a bodybuilder how
Yeah.
much work you have put in the process. And the thing is, bodybuilding you have to be consistent, disciplined, persistent. I mean, most people wouldn't be able to do what y'all do. Eat the same thing every day, follow
Yep.
the same
Exact same meals
plan.
every day. Yeah.
I mean, after a while, you want like I said, I try to eat a little healthy, but I'm not a bodybuilder. I wouldn't mind like I had a rib sandwich this afternoon, and I got some chicken and some broccoli set up for later before I cook for my supper. Um, Here's out to my man, my man Art, the Art of Female Muscle. My man Jeremy says, has anyone given you the specific amount of muscle and weight that you need to achieve to get to into WPD? Or like you said earlier, they didn't really give you anything. You just say you just need
No,
to get.
they just said I needed to grow into it. Oh, I'm on my phone. I was gonna do this on my laptop, but I couldn't get it to connect, so I'm on my phone. But
Yes, all right.
I was doing in body. I do in body scans every month at Five Star Nutrition, so that helps me monitor my gains and losses. I did obviously lose some muscle mass with the cut. That's expected. But they didn't give me an exact amount. My coach always tells me though, she's like, we're not looking for like a weight, we're looking for a look, is what she says. So, and I also want to touch on what you said. My one of my favorite quotes is consistency compounds faster than intensity. A lot of people are like, like, well, I can't do this today because I'm only going to get like a 30-minute workout in. Like, if you have a plant and you give it a little bit of water every day, it will grow and it will happen and it will thrive, right? But if you dump a bucket of water on it and then let it sit for 2 weeks, doesn't matter, right? So consistency always compounds faster than intensity. That's one of my favorite quotes that I like to tell people. But yeah, I don't have like a set amount of muscle to add. I don't know. And like I said, we're gonna start off season July 14th. So she'll probably have some type of plan at that point to give me to know
Yes.
more.
Well, I have a quote. One of my favorite quotes is from a movie, Batman Begins, where Ra's al Ghul tells Bruce Wayne, says, "Beware of surroundings of all time, your Master Wayne. Never give
Mhm.
sure footing for a killing blow." That's the thing. You have to be aware of where you get involved with this sport.
Mhm.
Like I said again, the consistency, the discipline. I mean, this is why I remember I told somebody one time, it's not about trust the process, it's about understanding the process. And
Mhm.
when you understand it, then you can trust it. Sometimes there's a lot more risk, but little reward. Here go from my man, a few minutes. Jeremy says, "Congrats on your supplement contract," and that's good
Thank you.
because you know what, that does help, like with financials part. If this is a good
Mhm.
relationship with this company, they can cover some of the things that will take a little pressure off your shoulder financially. But some people
Yes.
don't get that luck because instead again for y'all women, there's a lot more expense. The men,
Mhm.
all you gotta do is put on a pair of banana hammers and board shorts, tanning. That's it, and just boom. And
Mm.
y'all women, y'all have to bring a very presentation. You have to have a balance of both muscularity and femininity.
Hmm. Yeah, and I also have two sports that I do. My other hobby is pole fitness. I don't know if you've seen that on there, but I also do pole very regularly. I started about a year ago. In June, it'll have been a year, so that's like another financial cost for me is doing pole. But I love pole. It's my second love, and it's very hard to balance bodybuilding and pole, but I'm doing my best to make it work. So basically, I just cut back on pole towards the end of bodybuilding, and now that I have this little break, I'm hitting it hard, like 4 or 5 days a week, doing private lessons with that, and then July 4th, I'll go back to just like 2 classes a week. But
Yeah, I like I
um,
said. And so again, I worked in the strip club, and those ladies, people don't think about it. Y'all have a lot of strength, a lot of control. You know
well,
that
I'm
pole
not a stripper,
dancing.
and I'm gonna become one.
I
I
know,
just do
I
pole
know,
fitness.
I know.
That's not
But like I
happening.
said, yeah, I know. Not everybody for not true for everybody, but yeah. But a lot of ladies do have to have that control and strength, especially when you're doing tricks. Because I remember
Hmm.
one chick did a trick like she like dropping down real fast. She stopped
Hmm.
midway. I
Yeah, I've
mean,
actually finally did ball drops recently. I still do them kind of slow, but when I do them, this bicep right here is just a bruise every time. Because with pole, you get so many bruises. And so I had to stop completely 2 weeks prior to going on stage so I wouldn't have any bruises on my body. But yeah, my instructor told me that most people, it takes them up to a year just to be able to climb the pole. And I was climbing the pole in 1 month. So the strength definitely helped out with that.
also, I think one thing helps, especially for the ladies in the club, because they have a little more body fat. As a bodybuilder, you have a very low percentage of body fat, so there's
Mhm.
not a lot of cushion between your skin
Yeah.
and your muscles. So it's like I remember one lady who I know. She told me that she, did a little pole, pole training, but it also it's tougher on her because she is also a bodybuilder. This is
Mhm.
from my man, shout out to my man, the art of Mr. Jeremy says, how did you and Liam Douglas meet up, and what is about the photography that you like and stand out to you. So that's the
So,
photography.
so Liam, I love Liam, and I actually had a photo shoot with him yesterday. Two of the photos he did with me yesterday are already in my stories right now, and one of them is posted, so you can see that it's a light work, like where it's coming across with the like dramatic shadow behind me. He just has really creative ideas. And honestly, in my life, I have never done photography, but I had a friend who I met at the gym. And he came up to me one day because I was doing some yoga poses because I'm really into handstands, calisthenics, balance stuff lately. Like when I try to just work on that for like 15 minutes every day if I can at the gym. And he came up to me because I was doing some balance stuff, and he's like, "Hey, do you know how to do this yoga pose?" And I was like, "No." And then we connected on Instagram, and I started messaging him. And he unfortunately moved back to Kazakhstan recently. It's his name is Skandar. If you want to look up his Instagram, he has his photography. It's at skandar.telman, Telman. But he's like one of my BFFs now, even though we only knew each other in person for a month. But he would get photos with Liam, and I changed my username to Viking Queen Strong, which that has a name behind a reason behind it too. But so after I did that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a photo shoot, and we'll just theme it like Viking or whatever. So I reached out to Liam because he worked with Skandar. And I was like, hey, would you be willing to do a shoot with me? And he was like, yeah. And I said, I have no expectations. I'm just gonna buy like some stuff off Amazon to wear, and you just be creative. And so he did, and he got some awesome ones with like my hair flowing, with me wearing like a cape and stuff, and it was really cool. And then he had some ideas of photos he wanted to do, and I was like, and he asked me if I'd be willing to do them, and I was like, sure, let's do it. And so now it's kind of become this relationship where I do a photo shoot with him every couple months, probably at least, and I'll go out there for a couple hours, and if I have photos I want to do, we'll do those while I'm there, and whatever he wants to do, we'll do. And we try to just coordinate in advance so I can have the right outfits and things like that when I show up. Um, but yeah, he has really creative ideas, and I think it's fun, and it's good practice for me because I am fit. And like you said, there's costs with this. So if anybody ever wants to hire me as their fitness model,
Yeah,
I'll wear your clothes, man. Just put them on me. I'll take photos. I can do a good job, but
yeah,
so good
yeah.
practice.
Yeah, I remember a while back interviewed Sean Nelson. He does a lot of photography, like women bodybuilding and fitness.
Uh-huh.
And he talked about how he really want the ladies to be comfortable when they do the photography. I know another
Mhm.
guy. His name is Russ. He's also doing photography. Russ G. He usually comes in here every now and then. Yeah, it's good that you do that for, especially for your platform. It brings attention to you. because especially social media is very important. As a competitor, as an athlete, it helps further your career. I mean, you never know, you might get another person want to sponsor you because you have a quick look to you, long,
Yeah.
tall, you're attractive lady. You have especially with the tattoos, you have a very alternate look to you.
Hmm.
And that's very popular. I think I know a lady a while back. She did competed for opportunity to compete to be part of a I think it was a tattoo magazine. But
Hmm.
they're not going to give women bodybuilders that opportunity. It's going to be some little fluff that with two set of titties that look like a pair of bowling balls. And
Yeah.
yeah. But
I
you know what?
honestly signed up for Inked magazine a year ago because I have some amazing tattoos, and I was like, man, I think I could have a chance at this. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for it because that's been kind of a thing I've been doing lately. Like, let's just do it, let's try it. You live once, right? So I'm just trying to go for it on things, and I filled out their application, and they're like, yeah, yeah, we do the contest, and so I signed up for the contest. But then the contest was a joke, to be honest, because it was all about obviously they were trying to raise money for a fundraiser, but the way you got more votes was by people donating money. And I was like, well, that's not voting on someone's tattoos being good. That's just how much people can get someone to donate. So it wasn't a true tattoo competition, in my opinion. So I kind of just let it drop out after a bit, because I told people, I was like, don't donate money for me unless you want to. Like, that's because I didn't realize that was the type of competition it was going to be. But yeah, I tried to do a tattoo competition once, but didn't work out.
Yeah, it's things. It's all a lot of things go into politics and especially in bodybuilding. Yeah, but anyway, one thing I ask you, ladies, what's that exercise that you get Ashley? She's working on you. Ashley's like you're like the Rocky of Balboa. You're like she's your Mick. He said, "I'm gonna make you spit out lightning and crap thunder." What's that exercise that you like the most, and the one you say, "I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do it."
Oh, so well, I love doing pull-ups and I love doing weighted pull-ups. And so I absolutely hated it during prep when I had to go to the assisted machine. And I didn't have to go to the assisted machine, but that's what Ashley had me do. Ashley says that she doesn't do body weight pull-ups anymore. She just does assisted for full range, but I've always done full range on pull-ups and everything. So I love the hard body weight stuff like decline ab wheel with a weight on my back, pull ups with weight strapped around my waist, weighted dips. Like I love doing stuff like that. My favorite is back day. I love any back stuff. And she actually gave me a new exercise recently that's in some of my recent back day or pull day videos where you lean forward on the bench and grab the cable and pull it back for mid back. I have no clue why I like that, but that's like my favorite exercise right now. And for leg day, I love the pit shark or whatever RDLs where you use that machine, to drop down lower. But I love those. But the one that I have always just kind of despised is hamstrings. I don't know why. I just do not like hamstrings. I think way back in the day when I very first started exercising, like 12 years ago, like I said, I would go to these classes and they tell you to put your feet in the TRX and like pull your feet towards you or put it on a big ball and do it. And I don't know, I just hated it. And so it just kind of stuck with me. So I've always kind of disliked doing hamstrings, but even though I like the pit shark RDLs, but like
Yeah.
just hamstring curls, and planks, ugh, planks are so boring. Gosh, give me something to do. Like if you see me on my videos when I post, because I tend to make a reel of each workout and then I post the full video in my stories so you can see me doing the full set. And so I literally when I plank, I'm like rocking back and forth and doing this because like I just get so bored sitting there for like, because I do like a minute. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you like something that you were more active in, gets your blood going. You don't want something that you're like, I'm falling
Yeah,
asleep.
I'm not really like a burpee type person. Like I did all the Spartan races years back. I did do the Spartan trifecta. I got all three in one year and got the medals. Yippee! I got the T-shirt, but I don't know. That's not really for me anymore. Especially since I had that back injury and I got old lady knees. My knees started bothering me when I was like 38. So I take diclofenac 3 days a week just so I can do leg days. If I didn't take that anti-inflammatory, I really couldn't even do leg days. So.
I I can tell you I have old man knees. I have knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I got one is bone on bone. I need to see a specialist about that. I was seeing a doctor give me shots, talk about surgery. I don't know. I don't think I like somebody cutting on me, but I seem like I might go that way. But yeah, everybody has those things that really work on your strengths, but also work on your weaknesses because they're the things that make you an overall bodybuilder. Here we
Mhm.
got a comment from a man, Jeremy. Shout out to him again. Says, "What are your thoughts on WPD division, the current look where you think it's going, and what if you anything can be done to improve it?" So, what's your thoughts?
What can I? Oh, I'm not sure what they mean. Like what to improve
Well,
the physique
well,
or
well, if you look at it now. When physique was brought in, it was supposed to be the replacement to women's bodybuilding.
yeah.
And there was that years when they, like I said again, they Arnold kicked it out of the Miss International out of the Arnold Sprinter Classic. There were fewer shows kicked out of the Olympia, and then women's physique. If you look at it now, if you look at the top three competitors, like you look at Sarah Vilgus, you look at
Mhm.
Natalia Coelho, you look at Sharonka Hinton, their looks are different. And then they just had a show this past week in Shreveport where you have Rachel Daniels. You know of her. She won. She got qualification. You see, like the women are kind of like going away from what the vision was supposed to be. More like a classic look, like if you ever heard of Linda Murray, to more of the look that's just, I think, more advanced than it
Yeah,
was.
so I'll just say that because again, I'll to whoever asked this question, I'll restate that I'm very new to the bodybuilding world, and I literally just decided like a year ago, like I'm gonna go for this, and I've been starting to follow people that I admire their physique, that compete or that pros, and I get a little confused sometimes because I can't always quite understand the difference in like figure versus physique. And I've read about it. I've been told it's due to like more striations in physique and stuff, but I see these women that are just so muscular and they look so amazing and they're like in figure. And I'm like, wow, I figured that they would be physique, And so I don't know. And like I said, I didn't have much competition at this one. I just had the one competitor. But I mean, I don't know where it's going, honestly. And I honestly like the judges judge in their own way, but there was a few things in the competition and other people were reaching out to me saying, did you feel like like I don't know, like there's a few things we were confused on like how it was judged. So we're kind of confused, but so it made me confused again by how they judge things. Like, what are they actually looking for? Like, what you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm learning as much as anybody else is. I honestly don't don't know where it's
Well,
going.
well, I understand because you like have a man, have a man, Jerome would say like you're still wet behind the ears and breast around like Similac when it comes to this sport. But yeah, if you look at something like this, like you look at your coach, and
Yes.
This is Margie Martin from back in 2022. Even
Uh-huh.
though they're both two different divisions, they seem like so close. Or you look at this.
Mhm.
You have here is Missy Trescott. She's making a move over the figure this year, and you have the current Mr. Olympic champion, Sarah Vilgas. This is the stakes
Yeah.
are different because if you look at like the legs, the shoulders, the arms, there's so
Yes.
much differences. But the thing is, like any sport, it's gonna evolve. Now, there's new division coming out called Fit Model. Excuse me. Ha,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like
Yeah, I don't
I
really
don't.
understand the fit model. I kind of like, and I'm not like judging anybody that does it. I think any competition people choose to do, whether bikini, whatever, I say go for it. It's amazing. You're putting in the time and doing it. But I almost wonder if it's like a way for them to make more money because they think more
Yeah, that's
women
what it
want
is.
to feel like a model and be on stage, and so that gives them that feeling of I'm a model and on stage because they're not doing like a fit men model, right? Like I haven't seen that anywhere. Are they?
Uh, well, that's not going to happen. A funny thing, there was a big whole uproar because in Brazil they was doing a men's wellness division,
Uh-huh.
and people, if I'll see a video of one of them when I get a chance because someone sent it to me. I laughed about it, but I think it's because they want more opportunities and also to get more attention. Bodybuilding, even though the sport's been around for a long time, you go back to when I started getting bodybuilding. I was like, it was like the end of Arnold Schwarzenegger's career. You had Lee Haney, you had Lou Ferrigno, Pumping Iron. You have Pumping Iron too. Those women kind of excite me a bit, and it's just how evolution has evolved over time. If you look at the bikini girls, fit model supposed to be a throwback to when they first brought bikini to the into bodybuilding. Even though it's just about how the athletes grow. I have people who told me that they have even had bikini girls ask about, oh, can I use this pad or this performance enhancer? but you're not supposed to use that because you're in a division you're supposed to use it. But it's about for recovery. It helps you
Mhm.
recover after injuries and stuff like that. But there's always going to be different points of view.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the judging, if they can curtail it a little bit, like that's why fit models they're going to do crossovers. But after a while, because there's money in it, it's going to eventually happen. And then this is the problem with my feeling, especially I'm a fan of women's bodybuilding. I feel like it's going to push out those divisions eventually because the numbers, the many competitors, the judges. I don't know they're gonna sit all day and watch these girls come through like just a bunch of beach bunnies and cardio girls coming through.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing I asked about you ladies, and particularly my other guy, sometimes what's that thing you want, especially after that long prep? Tell me, share it with me, Car. Tell me that thing that you wanted the most, that thing that was aching in your appetite.
Food. um, no, like my diet wasn't bad. Honestly, I don't eat beef. I have an issue with it. I've known for years that when I eat beef, like it's just something's not right in my body afterwards. My daughter was the same way. Every time she would eat a hamburger, she would end up throwing up several hours later. So it's something about the protein. I don't know. I never had issues with throwing up. But when I did end up in the hospital during prep, I had coincidentally had a beef burger, and I hadn't had beef in like a year. And I just decided on a whim, I'm going to buy these burgers or whatever and cook them. And it was 2 days later I started getting sick, and then ended up in the hospital a few weeks later. But so I don't eat beef, but towards the end, eating the tilapia, like plain tilapia that's baked with no seasoning, mashed up with, and I had plain avocado with it. That was my meal, tilapia and avocado, because all my fats came from 10 grams of peanut butter and 3 ounces of avocado a day. And so I would kind of like mash it up together. And at first, I could put like a little bit of seasoning or like hot sauce on or something. And but I remember one day she told me I could have mustard, so I was like, "Here we go!" And I was like, I squeezed mustard on my tilapia and avocado. I was like, I just need something in there, man. It was different. I was like, if this isn't dedication, I don't know what is. But that tilapia started to get to me, and I told her, I was like, can we switch that out with anything? And she's like, she's like, it's a very lean protein. She's like, if you want to switch it with cod, you can, but otherwise we need to keep the tilapia. And I was like, because I don't like cod. So I don't know why I don't like cod. I just don't. But so I just stuck with it, and I really wanted like pasta with like you go somewhere and they make like the in-house cheese raviolis that they like make there with like a sauce
Olive
or something.
Garden.
Oh yeah, I wanted like something like that. It didn't have to be Olive Garden, but I couldn't really find a pasta place because the competition goes to like 8 or 9. So you've got to find a place that stays open till like midnight to go after the competition. And I told her that's what I wanted to do. And she was like, oh, I would not do that. She was like, no dairy whatsoever. She's like, your body will freak out. She's like, you have been eating so clean, watching your salt intake, all these things. She's like, have like, a chicken burger or something because I don't eat beef and stuff. She's like, that way you get your carbs and your protein, maybe have sweet potato fries. And so what we did is we went to Hop Dottie because I love their tuna burger. I love tuna steaks and I love their tuna burger. So I had the tuna burger with sweet potato fries, and I also ordered one of their kale Caesar salads because I don't know, I felt like I needed something green. But so that was my meal. And then I had one of my best friends, she owns a bakery here, Penny Rural Bakery, and she makes cookies to sell. And so I had one of her cookies as my very first thing. And I brought it with me, but I only ate half because she told me, she's like, don't eat the whole thing. You're going to make yourself sick with the sugar. Because I hadn't had any sugar in like over 3 weeks, probably. Um, so I did fine on that, but then I didn't know I was gonna have to go back to the prep diet afterwards. Like this is my first experience, and I'm learning, but that was really hard for me. Because I took Sunday off, did whatever I want. I did eat pasta at my kids' band banquet the next day when we got home, but I had to go back to the diet, and that was really really hard. And she added carbs back, but like the last thing I wanted to do was eat those meals again. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to go back to normal food. And I will tell you that the day of competition I weighed 141.3. I lost a pound the next day even though I ate pasta and burger and stuff somehow. But in 7 days I went up 8.9 pounds on the scale. in 7 days. And I was like, what? Like, how did that happen? Because, like, but she told me, she's like, you be careful. Your body is going to soak all that up. Like, it will just. But I knew a lot of it was water weight. And we already had like a barbecue plan for the Saturday after as like a celebratory thing. So she kind of told me how to plan for it and how to eat and stuff. But I think it was sodium. I've already lost like 4 pounds of that. I think today I was like 145. So I gained 4 pounds in a week about, I guess. But yeah, your body just like, so when you finish competition for the next 2 weeks, for those of you that want to compete and don't know, you've got to go back to the diet and slowly add back in your carbs and do that reverse diet very carefully. I've done reverse diets before, but it was never this strict. I didn't have to be that strict because I wasn't so strict before because I wasn't actually prepping for a competition. I was just bulking and cutting as the seasons went by, and so that was definitely a shocker. And I have never in my life experienced the feeling of being extremely full and incredibly starving at the same time. Like I have never had that. So this last week, I would eat a meal and it'd be towards the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, I got like 3 meals left. So I'd wait 30 minutes and eat another meal because I got to get all the calories in. And then I would just be so full. But all I wanted to do was eat everything in the fridge. Like I wanted to eat all that potato salad and eat that yogurt and like just everything. I wanted to eat all of it. And then of course we have all this food left over from the barbecue. And so I can't eat it because I had it at the barbecue, but I can't have it afterwards. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was so hard. So,
Uh, that's
but
that's that's the tough thing about being a bodybuilder because you know what, the diet is the most important part about you developing your body. It's
yeah.
necessary for it to grow, and it's about eating the right food. You just can't
Yeah.
eat all anything. But sometimes, like you had a barbecue and everything was smelling good,
Hmm.
like go you start acting like Chris Rock and New Jack TV. Pookie said, "Be calling my name, man. Be calling my name." But you know what? Because you got into this, you understand there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, especially when it
Hmm.
comes down to your diet and what you eat. Here we got a man, BT. Shout out to him. He says, "Hey George and Cara, hope all is well. I have your tattoos, Cara. How many do you have, and what are their meaning?"
Okay, I have a lot of tattoos. My very first one was when I was 18. I wanted to get a tattoo, but I was raised like in a Baptist family, and in my household, you don't get tattoos, and so I wanted one. But so I told myself, I was like, well, when I turn 21, if I still want a tattoo, I'll get one. Like I'm just that type of person. I try to make good decisions, and so when I turned 21, I still wanted one. So guess what? Me and a couple of friends and my husband, we all went and got a tattoo together. And so I got this one tattoo on my lower abdomen, which was a huge mistake. It's like it was this little tribal thing. It honestly looked kind of like a ninja star. If you look at some of my posts in like my posing practice bikini, you'll see it. But I didn't have my tattoo artist covered up with a new tattoo because it was my first tattoo, But then I had kids and it like stretched because there actually used to be a little spot in the middle that had like no ink in it, but now it's just all black. So, because my stomach got huge. I gained 75 pounds with both of my pregnancies. Like my stomach, my kids were huge. My kids were over 10 pounds when they were born. They were ginormous. It's just in the family, I guess, but very tall and everything. But so that was my first one. And then several years back, I kind of went through a rough patch when I left one of my jobs, and I got this lotus flower on my wrist with like some henna and a mandala. They also like symbolize good stuff with that. And that was when I met Michael Norris, my tattoo artist, and he did that one for me. And that was kind of awesome because it was a small tattoo, but he usually does large work. And that was kind of my in. So I was now his client. So, then I went in and I decided I love peacocks. Like my whole life, I've thought it'd be so cool if someday I had land and had peacocks living on it. Like I just love peacocks. They're so beautiful. And they apparently, like, people say that peacocks can eat poisonous berries and things like that, but then they still live and thrive and they're beautiful. So it's like kind of like that thing. And so I decided to get a peacock tattoo, and I told him, I said, I want one on my body and make it as realistic and actual size as you can. So down the whole back, my back, over my glute, and onto my thigh is a peacock. And he did it on a cherry blossom branch, and it's beautiful. It's a huge tattoo. It took me 3 years to finish it, because I started out going once a month, but tattoos are expensive. So and my husband and I would go together. I would do half a day and he would do half a day. So it was like double cost too. And so we started going like every other month to get and do, we would split a day. I would do half a day, he would do half a day. And so it took me 3 years to finish the peacock tattoo. But then I was kind of like, well, I'm the only one that doesn't get to see it. Like I never get to see it because it's on my back. And we would go to like pool parties and stuff. And I'd noticed that people were like looking at me. And I'm like, what are they looking at? Like, why are people looking at me? And I was like, oh, it's my huge tattoo, because I forget it's there. But then the peacock, I can still cover it. I can cover it with clothes, right? And so not much of my family knew I had that tattoo, I guess. But then I just decided I wanted a sleeve, and I don't know why, but I didn't want color on my arms. I know that most people try to make them all match, but that's what I wanted. So I asked Michael if he would do a style where all the shading is like little line work. And he hadn't done that style before. He usually does more Japanese style and stuff like that. But he did it and he's like, I love this. I'm so glad we did this. He was like, I want to do this more often. Like he loved the shading like that. And I got the heart because, cardiac ultrasound is what I did, and I loved doing cardiac ultrasounds. But it was just time for me to move on because it was sitting like this all day. Because you have to press into the patient for 45
Mhm.
minutes while working the machine. And this shoulder just started bothering me after just so bad. I've done everything, and still years after scanning, it still bothers me, and I can't get it
Mhm.
fixed. But
Well,
uh,
as a cardiac patient, I do appreciate what y'all do for us.
thank you, thank
I
you.
mean, I know it's a tough job, like any job, and it's a lot of wear and tear on you, but I do appreciate it.
Hmm.
Here we got here from my man,
Yeah.
Jeremy says this is you might check out Haley Perry. She's a, pro women's physique competitor. She and her husband have just started their own spice company, Perry Spices. Might help with the flavoring. Yeah, because that's her husband.
Oh,
They
I'll
her
write
husband is
that
just
down.
yeah, his husband also he competes in men's um classic physique, and that is I forgot his name. I know it's back of my head, but I interviewed Haley a while back. She's a nice lady. We really talked about like
Hmm.
we had the conversation about bodybuilding like this one because
Hmm.
that's why I
Yeah.
enjoy when I get you ladies on and talk to you and get your thoughts on the sport and also have a little fun because this is one thing we want to be. I want to be also informative, also fun and you
Yeah.
can learn something because people don't understand about this sport. And back in the day, you remember, it used to be on television, but it's not television anymore. And then, it's not as popular. You look at mainstream sports. Even if you come Ivy Pro, you'd be lucky if you can make a living from it because it's not like, if you look at football, basketball, baseball, it's not a
Hmm.
very lucrative sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I towards the end of my cut, I was kind of or my like getting in my prep, I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I need to find something because she told me I could use like sauces and stuff as long as they were zero sugar and low sodium. And I was using some spices, but they had a lot of sodium. So I'll definitely check these out because I had to stop using them because the Kinder ones had a lot of sodium. I did find some sauces though, but they weren't delivered until after I was done because it took a while to get there. But they're called New Sauce, Nussauce is how it's spelled. They're really good. I've been eating them now since I was done with that, but I have added those and those are awesome. And I also love the Elevate cream of rice. That's like what I looked forward to every day was my pre-workout meal with the Elevate cream of rice. It's spelled ELEV and then the number 8. And then Ashley has a discount code for that too. It's like A Jones, A for Ashley and Jones, but I think it's like $10 off or 10% off. But those rices are so good, but they're a little on the sweet side for me. So what I do is do half of the Elevate cream of rice and then half just unflavored from the store and mix it because it takes the sweetness level down a little bit for me. But that's something that really helped me get through was that because I loved that meal.
You want me to give you a little hack? This is something I learned from a lady. You can get regular rice and grind it in a coffee grinder, and you
Hmm.
can you can make it to like cream of rice. You can get a big bag, good old fashioned Mahatma, and just grind it down, and it saves you a little cost because like especially as a competitor, there's a lot of expense to it. Not just
Yeah.
your food, your training, everything, your coaches, and sometimes it's good trying to find little things to help you save a little money, especially as you continue.
I'm big on convenience for things, especially during prep, because I even would buy pre-made rice in containers that you microwave, and then I would measure my 90 grams out of it, and then put the other half in the fridge for the next day. My dog also has Cushing's disease, so I have to cook all of her food as well. So she basically eats what I eat on prep. So when I would cook tilapia and chicken, I would make extra for her. So she eats the tilapia, she eats the chicken, she eats, like, if I have like 10 grams of rice left over, that goes in her food. So, because she has to have very low fat in her diet. We almost lost her a couple months ago because that's when we found out she had Cushing's disease. But yeah, so I'm very big on convenient stuff like that where I can just measure it out. And the flavor though of the Elevate is what really really helps, because you just want something with flavor towards
Yeah,
the end of the cuts.
it's like this. Water is nice. It's good to be hydrated, but it can be
Yeah,
boring. You
yeah.
like this is one switch. You can put a little piece of fruit in it, like that, a little lemon, some orange. That helps it. Give that because you know what, as a bodybuilder, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice of good tasting food. Like one of my things, my favorite is I love Chinese food. Like you go to the
Mm.
buffet and you get the everything I did. You get the chicken,
All
you
the
get the
salt
shrimp.
though.
Yeah, I know, but it tastes so good. You eat it, it goes down your throat. But I
Mhm.
understand. I try not to eat much of it because I ain't had any in about a couple of months. But it's good to every now and then have something which is some
Oh
really
yeah, I
tasty.
think you should always let yourself live a little every now and then. Like I said, I do the 80-20 rule. I try to keep 20% of my life as fun and healthy, for that side, and then try to stick to the other. But
Yeah.
I do want to throw in that something I started recently, and it kind of postponed because I was prepping for the competition, but I did start an Etsy. It's Viking Queen Strong on Etsy. I have an email to vikingqueenstrong@gmail.com. So I basically, when I started my Instagram, it's because I've always wanted to help other people. I felt like people were constantly coming to me, like, how do you do it? What do you do? What do you eat? And so I was like, I'm just going to start an Instagram and show them, right? But then it kind of became like a big fit fam, which I absolutely love. And I do have people reach out for questions and I help them out, and I'm happy to do that. But so I'm one of those people that I want to give back. And I guess I'm the Viking queen, and the queen takes care of her people, right? So I basically sell just transfers with my logo on them, or I'll put it on a shirt for you. And it's just the cost of the item plus $5. And then the $5 goes into an account and sits there until I have enough money. And then I will be giving away free gym memberships, free nutritional counseling, free wellness resources for those in need. I'm hoping this will grow and take off. I do have things like patches for your Wolfpack backpacks that you can put on there, stickers, and I did an order yesterday of like 4 different transfers, but I basically send them to you and then you can just iron them on your shirt. Can you even see that on there? This is a glitter
Yeah.
one, but I send you instructions, and then it just goes to give back to the fitness community, help people out that are trying to get involved, trying to get started, but can't afford the cost of it. So look it up and support if you can.
Yeah, that's why I say, guys, if you follow this interview and this live, her social media link is in the description. You can go to her IG, you can find everything you need to know. Reach out in support, reach out in interest, because you know what? It helps these ladies in the long run. It helps not them, also their brand, because you know what? This is again, bodybuilding is not as lucrative as you look at other sports. If you're the lucky percent that get to Olympia, still you still have to try to make a career out of it. I mean, like I said earlier, we discussed how like men's open can make like about nearly $1 million, while women they don't make that much because of the cost of it. But
Hmm.
you know what? If you love this sport, like ladies have told me, they love it. It's not about the money for them. It's about finding something that's a passion, and they
Hmm.
love the passion. It'd be great if there's more financial benefits or just any other benefits like incentives for y'all competitors. If it was more like where you have okay, I have something to take care of the cost of everything else. Like if I go to a show, I don't have to pay so much of my travel fees. My bikini is covered. I mean, even when you go to a doctor and you get yourself checked out, hey, you do your blood work. You can do, check on your
Yeah, I get
everything.
labs every 3 months because I'm very big
Yeah,
on my health.
yeah, that's the thing I think that needs to be done in bodybuilding because you know what, people's always going to have the issue with it. It's always going to point in it because of the whole thing about steroids. But steroids is in everything. It's in every major sport. I do content on MMA, and I know MMA fighters have been busted for taking it.
Mhm.
Baseball players, basketball players, boxers. It's just it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding Olympic
Yeah.
level competitors use it, but it's so easy to pick up body because y'all are doing something that's, it's more of pageant flexing than a
Yeah.
real kind of sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about steroids, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. It's not for everybody, but like I
Yeah.
said, but it's mostly it helps. It's a very small percentage of your process. There's PEDS, it's this. It helps you recover, but not everybody does it. Everybody's natural. It takes
Yeah.
a lot more time for natural competitors to put those on sides compared to the more enhanced competitors.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who understands the aspects of bodybuilding, who understands the work you got to put in, consistency, the diet, the discipline, then go for it. If you're not, it's not for everybody. Like Ronnie Coleman, like a gentleman you were hanging out with at the show, one Mr. Ronnie Coleman, he says like, bodybuilding's not for everybody. He says like this, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one lifts that heavy ass weight.
Yeah. 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 I made him bite the medals with me. I was like, hold on, you got to bite them with me.
Yeah, he just turned. I think it was maybe a week before he just turned 61 years old. He's man, this man's 61. I mean,
Mhm.
he's a legend.
Oh,
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So, folks, we're not going to her car too much longer here. I know she's a busy lady. She got things to do. She's, getting ready. She's in her reverse diet. She's working on growing. She wants to get off the high heels, guys. He wants to get off those clog hoppers. Get off those clog
Oh, yeah, I
hoppers.
say I went
Yeah.
off of them, but then I do pull. So, and I will
Yeah.
say, pole shoes that are like the 8 inch are much easier to walk in than the ones they have us wear on stage for figure.
It's like I said again. I've seen some of those ladies. They get up here, and they be on
Mhm.
the stage, and I've seen it.
And,
I've seen it. I
and
know.
I do have an account for that too. It's just Viking Queen pole. That's where my entire pole journey is there from the first day I started and didn't even know how to stand next to the pole all the way up to now. So I've only been doing it a year, but the whole journey is documented there. So.
All right. So, folks, if you want to check out her social media, sites, go to her IGs, which here in the live stream description. Check her out. Show support, guys. Don't be weird. Be respectful. This is a lady. She got kids. She got a husband. I know you guys out there because I'm one of y'all. Must have heard smell. You love these buff, beautiful women. But here's the thing is, I say it like this, guys. You get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. I know what you're doing to iron fist. So, madam, what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding in the future?
I would love to get a pro card. That's my goal. In my head, I'm like 2 years. I'm doing it in 2 years. Will that happen? I have no clue. And honestly, I have no goal to be an Olympian, but Ashley is an Olympian. And so, literally, after I hired her, I changed everything in my phone to be like the folder. I have everything for gym in, everything says Road to Olympian. So, they say to set your goals high. So, just put it there. Even if the goal is higher than what you actually want, it's still something to reach for, right? So that's uh that's my thing. I just want to get a pro card in a couple of years, and I want to grow bigger legs.
You want to be big. You don't want to be like Ashy, but at least it's big enough where hey, I can get on stage. I can flex my muscles. I can kick off the high heels and like flex
Yeah,
and like and
yeah.
look creative. Yeah. But one thing I wish that more people would do is reach out with your interest, you ladies. Maybe I know because you're still brand new. I know that you get your contract, but it's good to have some people who want to get an opportunity for you to grow as an athlete. Maybe get some more sponsors in the future, cover the cost of travel and everything else involved with competitors. But don't be careful. These guys says, "Hey, Kai, you're a queen. Well, I got a king for you." No, 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 no. Stop that. You sick freak. This is what
Yeah, if you
say.
want to help me out, June 1st, I'll be posting my link to get you a discount at 5 Star Nutrition. You can get
Yeah,
$10 off of the purchase.
yeah. And also, guys, reach out to Miss Hardin. We heard about your story. This is your first time bodybuilding. We like your path of how you grow, and we want to see you grow more as an athlete. So, if you're interested in it, we have a program that want to help advance competitors in their future in the sport. If it's a product that you like and you can work with, we'd like you to be part of our brand. If you're not sure, you're not certain, we're fine with that. But we just want to see you grow as an athlete.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you for the.
Yeah. Well, sign the contract, baby. But so before we let you go, do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, I tried to list them along the way, but definitely all my coaches along the way. I've loved every one of them. Coy Cooper Fitness, Miss Flexi Brown with two X's, Sheila Brown. She was my posing coach for the last several months. Liam Douglas, my photographer at Liam Douglas. Ashley, who's Ivy Strong 2, my coach now. And my coach that helped me the previous year grow my legs, which is Scott, which is Coach Scott G, and it's GEE at the end for his account. So, yeah, and I'm sure I'm missing someone in there. I don't know,
Your
but
man,
like,
your babies.
well, yeah, but I mean, like they're not
Yeah,
online, but
uh,
yeah,
it's
I
important to
talked
you.
about them a bunch. They're my huge support group. So, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because it's important. Because you know, what, I talked to ladies who told me that when you get into sport, things change because you're changing your life, and sometimes they lost friends from it because you know what, they don't understand it, and then sometimes your family may not understand it. Because I talked to
I've
ladies
lost
who told me,
two friends. Well, three actually because of my
yeah,
lifestyle. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, because the fact is sometimes you're not doing what they used to, like go to the club or go to the bar,
hmm
go out to eat. You can't do that all the time because
they
you're,
start making little comments about things, and you
yeah,
brush it off, and then eventually,
you get
my
tired of
most
them. Yeah.
Yeah, my most recent friend that I broke it off with, I finally just, I could see through the lines. I knew what she was doing, and I knew what she was saying, and then it was validated by someone else saying that, yes, like talking about me. I don't know. So I was just like, so I just stopped talking to her. So
Well,
it
that's
was
the
hard
problem.
though, because we've been friends for like 6 years, and we're hanging out every week. And I don't know. We actually started this journey together, bodybuilding. We would work out together 4 days a week, lifting weights, and she stopped and I didn't, and I guess she had a problem with that. So,
That's
but
thing. That's not a friend. That's a guy. That's a hater. They hate you more. But here's the thing about haters. You know what?
yeah, but I loved
They
her, and I'm sad that that friendship's over, but it's for the better. So,
Yeah. Well, the thing is about sometimes it's best to let some people go. Some people are like a season. Some people come in like autumn and like leaves and
yeah.
fall, and then yay, it's a new season. It's just
Mhm.
they gotta understand, respect your decision, what you do with your life. It's nothing involved with them.
Yeah.
It's involved with you. And sometimes some people don't want to grow involved with you. They want to stick in the same. I can understand because I'm 50. I'm used to doing things like I used to, but I can't do things like I used to when I was younger. But you
Yeah.
have
Oh,
to
yeah.
grow and adapt and understand where you're going as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So we wish her best of luck in the upcoming season. And we hope to see her maybe next year. Step on the big stage, get a pro card in a couple of years.
Yeah, that'd be
Be
awesome.
maybe share a stage with your coach, even though she's in bodybuilding, she's a big
Mhm.
girl, but still you can be a same company. Like I know at one point it was going to be a Texas Pro in women's bodybuilding. We'll have Texas Pro, but then they dropped it. Maybe next year they might have it. Maybe Ashley would do it. I'm hoping, I think she's a great lady and hope she can still stay in the top three in the Olympia. Oh, I got this other guy got to say something. He says this, Carl, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. So, folks, if you want to follow her, check the links in the description of this live stream. Reach out to her and your interest. Support her because she's still a baby in the sport. She's just a baby. Yeah, just a
Yep.
baby. So just be gentle with her. Ashley, be gentle with her. So, folks, I appreciate my man, Jeremy, our female muscle going through, BT going through. Everybody who watched this video, follow, subscribe, support us, support Cara in her path as a bodybuilder. They really need it because, like I said again, there's so much to the sport that most people don't understand, and I think it's just be open and educated about when these women get into sport. It's not as easy for everybody to do this.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. So, folks, enjoy this upcoming weekend. Can you believe summer's around the corner? Yeah.
Yes.
So, I hope you
Vacation
enjoy.
next week.
Yeah. And your boy gonna be 17. Remember, beat him down. Don't let him
Yeah.
put this place. You're the parents. You gotta beat him down. So, folks, appreciate y'all coming through. Thank you for your support. Watch, share, comment, follow Cara and her path as a bodybuilder and generally reach out and support and interest. These ladies do need that. So this
Yes.
is my way, George K, aka the Emperor to the Queen, the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good afternoon, good night, good luck, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
You're welcome. Not worry about it.